they took their genes and then they did, I think, manipulate to make the slave and the servant. They took what they gave us. I mean, I think we're essentially them. We're not primates. We're essentially them.
Right.
So in doing that, they dumbed us down. You don't want your slave or your servant to be as intelligent as you are by any stretch. You don't want it even as close.
It's really difficult stuff to decipher. But this one guy, Zecharia Sitchin, who's a legitimate biblical scholar and ancient linguist, he said that the entire thing was about the Anunnaki.
The archive was born on October 15th, 2014. To put things in perspective, that was back when Barack Obama still had 2 years left in his second term. Indeed, the archive is on its third president. After becoming markedly frustrated with the TV series Ancient Aliens, it was decided that YouTube might serve as a viable conduit to disseminate a more authentic and accurate representation of the ancient astronaut theory. The archive was created to focus on the actual ancient nature of the premise, namely the extraterrestrial astronauts recorded in our oldest known civilizations here on Earth. The theory itself had already become progressively contaminated and perverted, beginning with the introduction of the web in the mid-90s. Back then, anyone with an internet connection could go about injecting their own ET-related conspiracies into this heretofore plausible theory of paleo contact. The list is way too long to present here, but this was the time when Zeta Reticuli reptilians, Nibiru cataclysms, and Black Knight satellites, to name a few, began to enter the pop culture. Then came along YouTube in 2005, and all the perversions of the theory that were on the internet for the past decade steadily reincarnated on this new platform. Turns out many of the earliest videos were adapted for the TV series beginning in 2009. By 2014, the proliferation of these distortions made it imperative that a counterbalance should be introduced, a source of knowledge and wisdom that would refocus on the actual theory and reestablish the validity of the subject matter, a source that was beholden to no corporate influence and completely independent. At its inception, the archive had zero YouTube expertise or video production experience. However, the archive does have the knowledge and academic resources to set the record straight. Our longtime viewers from back then know very well that the growing pains were frequent and noticeable. In fact, the archive has allowed many of those early videos to remain publicly available so even our newest viewers can see the evolution. To put things in perspective, currently the archive has 120 videos available to the public, but in total, we have produced and published over 600 since 2014. The explanation of why 500 plus of our productions are no longer available is another story for another time. One of the things that is most noteworthy over our tenure thus far is the recurrence of larger entities attempting to either acquire the archive or neutralize the archive. Gaia, History Channel, and several other poachers have come at the archive. Yet, the archive turns 8. Many longtime viewers know the creator and narrator of the archive is me, William Hobbs. And you may also know the owner of the archive is Kronos Media. For those of you who did not know that, consider yourself updated. But when you hear me in the narrations speak of the archive as a collective, that is very accurate. Indeed, there is a team of individuals that make every production possible. And that team certainly includes our supporters. The archive is very grateful to those viewers who have become members of the channel on YouTube and for those viewers contributing on Patreon. Truth is, after all this time, the contributions to the channel do not meet even 10% of the production cost. But that's okay. Other sources of revenue ensure our continued productions. With that said, Your monetary contribution to the channel is still encouraged to increase our quality, length, and frequency of production. Right here at this point in the narrative, we had planned a segment about how beginning in 2019 our YouTube channel had a drastic reduction in its metrics across the board. But so did every other channel on the platform, so that was omitted. There was also an issue where Facebook performed a wholesale demonetization across their entire platform in 2021 that directly affected our presence there. But since that platform is already on its downward cycle, the archive will waste no more time on it. As the archive enters its 9th year, the focus will be on explanations of ancient text, genealogical and chronological observations, ancient structure analyses, new scientific corroborations, and, as always, archaeological discoveries. The archive would love to be more specific, but believe it or not, many of our competitor channels take our subjects and reproduce them. An important initiative for the archive moving forward is the introduction of a conduit for those viewers who have performed their own research regarding the ancient astronaut hypothesis. This includes everyone from established authors and experts in the field to regular viewers. In November, the archive will provide guidelines for viewer proposals that have a chance to be produced as a video on the channel. We have done this before with some trusted researchers, but now we are opening up the opportunity for all viewers. Before we close out, the archive would like to extend, once again, a heartfelt appreciation to all of you that have helped us reach this level of longevity.